These playoffs have evolved into a who gets less